The Bungalow Blitz Network presents Play to Win, a fantasy football podcast. With your hosts, Dan and Zach Lynn.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Dan, alongside with my co-host,
Zach,
that's right. And we are here on the first ever episode of the Play to Win Fantasy Football Podcast. And if you didn't know, we're coming to you live from my attic. Yes, the bungalow.
pre-recorded live.
Pre-recorded live. Yeah, we'll figure out the live part for next week. But, yeah, we're just two guys here talking about fantasy football and the league.
Yes, and our league specifically, I am the esteemed commissioner. It's a 12-team PPR league, half PPR, excuse me. And it's a real competitive league. We sat down and thought, let's talk about fantasy football. Let's talk about a little bit about our league, a little bit about how you can apply what we have learned about fantasy football to your league. Maybe it's your first league. Maybe it's your third league. Maybe you have 12 leagues and need to seek help, seek counseling about it. But that's all right. So a couple of things about our league. There is no tight ends, and there is it's a deep league.
It is. It's competitive.
It's very competitive.
It's been going for 4 years, and each year has hoisted a new champion with a new trophy.
Yeah, that's right.
So
hopefully not this year, though.
Right.
Yeah,
so let's get into a little bit about the weekend. We're going to start with our
very
weekly
exciting.
recap.
Oh, yeah.
So,
What games stood out to you?
first game, I got to go. I mean, everyone has to talk about the Denver Broncos upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, who would have thought Denver holds Kansas City to 9 points with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, right? So it kind of leads you into the question, is Kansas City's offense in trouble?
I don't think they're in trouble, but I think that they are not what they were last year.
I would 100% agree.
I think that from what I've seen, their defense has stepped it up. Their offense has taken a step back. But I think that their defense has taken a bigger step forward than their offense has taken back. So I think overall they stand just as good a chance as they ever have. I mean, still Super Bowl contenders, but you're not going to see putting up as many points, and you're not going to see the high scoring games that you did on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. And, I mean, it doesn't even sound right to be worried about Kansas City.
No.
I mean, are you ever worried about Patrick Mahomes and that offense? It's hard to say that you are, but I will say teams are dialing in on Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. He's still putting up a lot of catches and a lot of yards and scoring a lot for fantasy football owners, but they don't have that clear wideout yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. I also thought it was hilarious that Denver decided to troll Kelce by playing Taylor Swift after the win. So
Who's that?
I don't know. Kelce definitely is his girlfriend or something, and
Oh, okay. Probably just clout chaser.
clout chaser for
Gotcha.
sure. Yeah. So
So moving on to the Bengals on the 49ers game. The 49ers now lost 3 in a row. What's the problem? What's the problem in San Francisco, do you think?
you know, everyone's pointing the finger at Brock Purdy. He hasn't played well. You know, he's turned the ball over more than he has, but you know, the sample size on him is small.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a lot of success to start.
Yep.
And that anytime you're a quarterback, right, of a team, you're going to be the first person that people point at. And I think that the Niners are going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It is concerning losing 3 in a row. Anytime you lose 3 in a row, you start to question. But if one thing's for sure, I mean, they still have a solid running back.
They do. They do. You know, that's every week, I think I've told you this before, but every week I sit back and I'm slowly losing my matchup. And I don't sweat it because I know that I can come back. because I have Christian McCaffrey. Every week I know that I'm 25 to 45 points down. There's a chance. Now, that's worked out about 3 times this season, I believe, but
Sure.
and he's on bye this week, so that's not.
I think it's important to note there's 2 players in football this year, and that I think that you can point to as a surefire, like unbustable.
Can I take a guess?
Please.
Is it Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill?
It is, and it's 100%. I mean, if you look at what these 2 have done, it's
wild.
It's insane. And I really want to see Tyreek Hill break the record this year. I think he's on pace.
Who would you draft 101 this year? If you could redraft right now.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Okay.
I mean,
I think I'm still Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it going either way.
Because I think there's other receivers that I would love to have. There's no other running back that I love.
I think you're right. And I think you're right. I mean, I drafted from the 12th spot. I took Tony Pollard. And it's been tough.
Yeah.
It's been tough. And in the year of the running back, too, I mean, people are dropping like flies. And, yeah, I can't fault you for taking McCaffrey still.
That's what I would do.
So
Will Levis. Will Levis and the Titans.
Crazy.
I know.
One of my buddies, Mike, huge Titans fan, blowing me up about just how exciting and refreshing it is to see the ball go in the air. And the Titans kind of move the ball and score some points, and it's crazy to see. Now you see DeAndre Hopkins, what he can do. You know, people were questioning, is it really Tannehill? Is he washed? Is it, what's there still? And I think you could see when the ball goes to your best player,
Not washed.
and he did this on 6 targets. So he posted 4 catches, 128 yards, and 3 touchdowns on 6 targets. Imagine if you throw another 4 targets in there.
Yeah, any reasonable. I mean, you look at what Devontae Adams is getting right now, and
Right.
And if you, well, not this week, but if you gave that to DeAndre, you'd see some production, I think.
100%. And what's crazy is that I don't even know who owns him in our league, but
No, I know.
any owner of DeAndre Hopkins has to be ecstatic right now, because who's the other Tennessee Titans receivers?
I couldn't name one.
Me neither.
There probably is someone that.
Treylon Burks, is it?
Yes, yeah, he did play for.
I
the
think
Titans.
he's on
I think he's
waivers
still-
somewhere.
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably. Nobody
So it's one game for Will Levis too. It was at
Yes.
home against the Falcons. Let's not, get ahead of ourselves. But it's fantasy football.
Let's get
I
ahead of
mean,
ourselves. It's fantasy football.
It's
right?
fantasy football.
Like,
It's the fun part of it, right? So that was the line that on that game. Tell me about what you thought about Jahmyr Gibbs.
yeah. Did you watch that game?
I watched a good amount.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember the story. I apologize. The watching Jahmyr Gibbs, and I saw this early in the season, but I did Montgomery took over, and Montgomery looked insane, and I put out trade offers for him in a different league. But watching Jahmyr Gibbs last night, I started to go, well, maybe I should not be putting out offers for David Montgomery, because when he comes back, is Gibbs going to be the guy, or what do you think is going to happen? Because I saw this with Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell, I got the stats here. He week 1 he had 14 attempts, 9 fantasy points, but he had 14 attempts. He was the guy.
Sure.
He got hurt. Week 2 he was out. Week 3 he had 14 attempts again, but from that point on, DeAndre Swift took over. Swift hasn't been below 10 attempts since week 4, and looks like Kenneth Gainwell has not been above 10 attempts. So
Sure.
clear 1 and 2 situation there.
Sure. I think that the Philly situation is a lot more clear. I think if you've watched the Philly games, I think DeAndre Swift has made the most of his opportunities. They brought him in, he kind of in Detroit, his time in Detroit was so hit or miss, right? He couldn't stay healthy, but when he was, and they got him open in space, I mean, he was a machine.
Yeah.
So I think that situation is more clear. I am a little worried. I mean, I do own David Montgomery. He's been a workhorse. But I do think that Dan Campbell, the philosophy there is he likes David Montgomery's style.
Yeah.
And I think you could see his targets and his carries go down, right? But with any system in the National Football League, it's outside of a couple teams, it's a complementary backfield, and I think we're going to see how it shakes out. I'm not going to press the panic button yet, but Jahmyr Gibbs did look insane.
Yeah. And that's where I landed is I think that, I still want Montgomery on my
Right.
teams, but
Right.
a little bit less than I did a week ago.
Sure. And well, think about it too. Remember last year, Jamal Williams,
Yep.
he get inside the 10-yard line. Who's the ball going to?
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be Montgomery.
And yeah, you would think.
Well,
So we'll see how it goes. But moving on here, last game on Sunday night was Chargers over the Bears, and we just wanted to highlight all you Austin Eckler owners out there. You're finally
Not me. I raised
just
my hand, but I'm not an
hallelujah. He's back in a lineup. He's playing football again.
Yes.
Because he was a first-round pick, and
Well, he's receiving the ball again.
true.
Is he a running back?
I mean, that stout Chicago Bears defensive line.
Oh,
So
sure.
listen to this: 15 carries, 29 yards. That's a 1.9 average. I mean,
Thanks for doing the math for us all.
yeah. I just had to put that in there. But and maybe that improves.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 carries. I mean, you got to like to see that.
Yeah.
And
I was playing against him Sunday night, and I was like holding out hope. I was ahead. He was the last guy to go on my opponent's team, and about 2 minutes into the game, he put up a reception that he darn near housed. So, not who I wanted to be playing against Sunday night.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you're an owner, you love to see 94 yards on 7 catches and a tutty. So let's hope that Eckler's back.
Yes,
So.
I think.
But that's
Jumping
a little.
into I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're jumping into the NFL trade deadline now.
100%.
Tons of big news. Starting with Devontae Adams was not traded.
Wah, wah.
How I think you could see, was that last night or Monday night? He was furious. He had one catch in the entire game. Absolutely wild to be underutilizing Devontae Adams in that way.
Yes.
You think that's going to change with what else happened?
No, I mean, well, I'm feel bad for Raiders fans. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer. I was at the game, the Chicago Bears Raiders game 2 weeks ago, and the Bears dominated that game, and the Raiders didn't really put up much of a fight, and that's got to be concerning because the Bears aren't that good. But I just don't see. Maybe Aiden comes in and plays well, and Devontae gets some more targets. But
We buried the lead, by the way. New head coach McDaniels was fired,
we did.
as well as their GM. So there's going to be changes. Can't be worse, probably.
No, sky's the limit.
Yes.
So
Also, not traded. Derrick Henry. Do you have Tajay Spears in any of your leagues?
I do not.
Okay, I've got him, I think, in both of my leagues now, and I have been holding out hope. He has been splitting carries on the. Here's Derrick Henry's or Tajay Spears' snap percentages through the first 8 weeks. He's got 54, 37, 56%, 53%, 52%, and 56%. You know what a lot of those numbers have in common? They're
in the
above
50s.
they're above 50%, which means he's out snapping Derrick Henry. He has not had the production though. What do I do with Tajay Spears?
If he's, I would hold on to him, to be honest. I know, like, maybe that's a stretch considering, but what if Derrick Henry suffers an injury, or at some point the math has to play out in your favor, right? You would think.
You would think.
If he's not taking up a spot on your bench that is crucial,
Well, should we look through some of the top options available on our waiver wire right now?
I think we should. I
Okay,
mean,
so just off the cuff here, Tajay Spears or Amari DiMercado? Cardinals running back.
Tajay Spears.
Okay. I started at the top, so that's pretty much it. But we got A.J. Dillon taking over.
Tajay Spears.
Devin Singletary.
Tajay Spears.
Okay. How about the illustrious Cam Akers, who's really...
I don't do Cam Akers in fantasy football. I've learned my lesson there. I see your point here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would maybe consider Amari DiMercato, but isn't James Conner coming back here relatively soon? Or am I wrong?
James Conner, I'm hoping he's back soon, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're in a predicament there.
Yep.
So.
But when am I not?
Fair enough. So speaking of waiver wires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at our league. What's up with people not picking people off the waivers?
Well, there were 3 total claims in our league this week. It was, if I can run through them real quick, because normally I wouldn't run through all of the waiver
Sure,
claims.
please
That would be
do.
absurd. But there's 3. And it's Super Youper grabbed the Raiders. Okay. Grab a defense. I mean, the Raiders DST.
I love a good big defensive waiver claim.
Yes. It was, I wonder what, maybe we can look up what his priority was that he blew on a defense. But then I picked up Demario Douglas for Jaden Reed. Which
I should have grabbed him. I don't know what I was thinking.
he's got potential. You know, he's the one now. So
Patriots have been, steadily improving too.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I don't know. I mean,
Yes.
let's.
And then the third claim was mine for Rashid Shaheed, which didn't go through because I had already picked up, I'd already dropped Jaden Reed. So we had 3 claims this week. And I'm just, I don't,
Yeah,
just to
and-
give my league a little insight, I'm blowing my priority every week. I'm 12th. If I'm 12th, I'm not holding that priority.
Right. No, I mean that's evident. and I've been holding the last, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in anticipation to get to that number 1 spot. But Craig has not made a claim since what? How many weeks now?
Yeah.
I moved up.
That's information I don't have when his
No.
last claim was.
Yeah. Well, I was in the 6th spot, and I moved up to the 5 spot this week by not making a claim. So, for all you people check the waiver order, go get some players, man. Let's
Yes.
do this thing.
Yeah. Waiver pickups win championships.
They do.
Yeah, totally.
They do. You
Hey,
gotta.
Look at how well it's working for me.
That's right. Gotta find the needle in the haystack, man. So, all right. Let's move on to.
Well, do you want to talk trades? Do you want to talk about the trades that
We
have been
have
happening?
to.
This is where no waiver claims this week, but we've had some trades in this league.
For all of you that have been a part of this league, historically, I think we've averaged maybe 1-2 trades a year,
I believe so.
and this year it's just blown up. I mean, and it's been fun. I mean,
10 trades in this league so far this year. 10
Right.
trades. The league's been around 4 years?
Right.
We've probably had 3 to 6 trades total.
right. And I gotta say too, the trades have been good. I mean, I don't.
I
There's
think in
maybe
general,
1 or 2
Yeah.
that we can talk about here,
Mhm.
but for the
will.
most part, fair offers, good offers. Players have been flying around.
Oh yeah.
So what's the one you want to talk about?
Well, okay. So the first trade it's actually a series of trades,
Okay.
and it's my little brother. I've never been more proud of him. He traded Kadarius Toney and through 2 trades, I believe, he ended up with James Conner. And now James Conner's hurt, mind you. I get that. He traded for him right before he got hurt. Bad timing. But I believe that James Conner is going to be an absolute dominant. Like, he's going to, for where you're getting him, I think he's going to be wildly successful. I have him in a league, and I wouldn't trade him for the world. Josh managed to trade Kadarius Toney for Brandon Ayuk, and then Brandon Ayuk for James Conner. Where would you, if you were drafting again with what you know now, where would you be drafting Kadarius Toney?
Late,
If at all.
if at all.
Yes. And to see that that jump, I mean, that is absolutely wild. Big mistakes. We won't name names though.
No, I mean, there's no need to. You know who you are.
Yeah, we all know who you are.
Yeah, tough there, but yeah. What's your next one here?
Okay, so the next one I gotta find. Oh yeah, I gotta ask you. Okay, the Pearson Spectre Lit. right here, in the room, in the house, traded Saquon Barkley, Tyler Lockett, for Travis Kelce and Cortland Sutton. Did I get that right? I didn't mix that up, did I?
You got it 100% right.
How do you liking it?
I love it. And let's talk about this for a second. Give the listeners a little bit of a background here.
Please.
The 4 running backs I had on my roster post-draft were Tony Pollard, Raheem Mostert, David Montgomery, and Saquon Barkley. Needless to say, I was pretty set there for the first 6 weeks of football. No one kind of saw what Raheem Mostert was going to turn into this year. That's kind of shifting a little bit, but I needed a receiving option or someone to put in the flex spot, right, that I could rely on. And with Saquon being a little injury prone, he hasn't been on. I think he missed 3 or 4 weeks in a row there.
Mm-hmm.
And Travis Kelce being the centerpiece of that offense,
Yep.
getting targets out the wazoo.
Wild targets, absolutely.
I thought that the player swap there was even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think it was a good trade.
Saquon's the focal of the Giants offense too
Mm-hmm.
when he's healthy, when he's on the field. But are you going to really get that every week? Is he going to be healthy enough? I don't know. I guess Kelce could get hurt too. But I only made that trade because of how much depth I had at the running back position.
It was a roster construction question.
Yes.
And I'm looking up Tyler Lockett's numbers here. So since his bye the last 3 weeks, he's had 12.4 fantasy points in our scoring format, then 5.8, then 18.1. So he is getting it done.
No, I didn't want to give up Tyler
Yeah.
Lockett originally because I thought that he would end up being the receiver in Seattle still.
Totally.
But Cortland Sutton hasn't been like crazy, but he's been pretty consistent.
Well, he's got a touchdown in all but 2 games.
He's crazy.
So
in
he
that
shouldn't keep
high-powered
it up.
offense.
In that high-powered offense, absolutely.
So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I'm getting a little worried, to be honest, about Mostert and the Montgomery situation. It could.
Yeah.
We don't know how things are going to shake out there.
To have
And
two of those balls in the air.
Tony Pollard. I mean, can we get the guy in the end zone? Can we get the guy some catches?
If Cortland Sutton goes down in touchdown regression, we get Tony Pollard up in touchdown regression. I guess regression to the mean. Yeah. Math things.
Hey, there's trades are always open at Pearson Spector Lit. All right, make your offer.
Well, that's what we need. I want 20 trades in this league before the end of the season.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of trades, I just want to remind everyone that our league trade deadline, November 29th at 11 a.m. Central. So if you're trying to get those in, get them in now.
Get him in.
There was one other trade in our league that I think we have to talk about.
Oh, we have to talk about this for sure.
Yep.
So let's talk about it. It was Kareem Hunt and Stephon Diggs for Bijan Robinson and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts here.
Well, initially, as in when the trade happened, I didn't think there was a winner. I've changed my tune on that.
Let's hear it.
So, Stephon Diggs, absolute dominant force. You must have Stephon Diggs in your lineup if you can help it. Okay.
Agreed.
Kareem Hunt, maybe. I don't know. I don't care about Kareem Hunt.
No one really cares this year.
You've got Bijan Robinson in a pretty bad offense, and you've got Chris Olave, who Derek Carr can't stand. He's on the sideline asking for Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
He's asking for plays to Shaheed. He does not want to throw to Chris Olave.
Right.
I think that dynamic and the lack of offense or the lack of utilization, I think, in Atlanta for Bijan,
Yeah. I mean,
that worries me.
right. I mean, I don't know how much he's found the end zone either in Atlanta, but
Sure.
I think I'm leaning with you on this one. Originally, I thought it was kind of even. I wanted Bijan Robinson all year. I made Chuck plenty of offers there, and none that he bid on. That's all right. But Stephon Diggs, you're getting great football player.
It's absolutely.
Target.
I mean, wide receiver, 3-5? Like what is
Right.
he in your book?
Top 5 for
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
So the whole Chris Olave situation, it's tough. I mean, I've watched a few Saints games this year from start to finish, and They just haven't found that chemistry, and we're halfway through the year. So,
Well, we're going to take a quick break before we move on, but I did want to just give you a quick update. Bijan Robinson has found the end zone exactly once this year.
once.
So, I think that's an offensive problem. Maybe he regresses to the mean and gets some more touchdowns, but it's a weak offense.
Crazy.
All right, let's pause there.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to move right in to this week's power rankings.
Now, are we doing this every week?
Every week, baby.
Every week.
We got to talk about it. I mean,
We do.
that's the competitive spirit of this league.
Absolutely.
So, and I think what's funny is that we were kind of talking about this pre-show. Is ESPN getting better?
They are.
With power rankings.
We're looking at the final standing projections on ESPN, and they've gotten a lot better over the last couple of years. I think
Shouts to ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, Watson, whatever AI they've got
Yeah.
built into their system now, it's it's really predicting the future. I don't know how they knew I was going to finish 10th.
So ESPN's getting better, but is there anything? Let's run down this real quick here.
You wanna
We
look
have
at, start at number 1.
7-1 successful man. So shouts out to Josh there for having a scary good team here.
He has a scary. I have been saying this since week 1, since the night of the draft. He thought his team sucked, or he thought his team was subpar.
Sure.
Because he ended up going with a zero RB strategy. If you're not familiar with that, it's drafting almost exclusively wide receivers, maybe a quarterback or a tight end early, and saving your running back slots till 5th round plus. And he kind of fell into that. I watched it happen, and I was also I was the first pick. He was the second pick, so we were bookending each other every round. And he kind of fell into drafting all of these great wide receivers. I want to pull this up because it is his wide receiver core is kind of nuts. He's got Deontay Johnson currently, Mike Evans, Jacoby Myers, who's been good, and then I'm leaving because of course these guys are down on his bench. Amon-Ra St. Brown, pretty good football player,
Really good.
and Justin Jefferson, pretty good football player.
Solid.
Yes.
Now, but does his stock drop now with? I mean,
Perhaps with
with
Dobbs.
with Kirk going down and Josh Dobbs coming in.
Yeah. Sure. But I'd still
But it's
rather
still
have
Justin
Justin Jefferson.
It's Justin
You
Jefferson.
can
Let's
take
be
a 5-yard
honest here.
screen to the house, right?
Sure.
And so his running backs are hit or miss, and that's how it happens with that. But he has managed a 7-1 record with Justin Jefferson on IR and Deontay Johnson on IR. Deontay Johnson, I think, is at 91% of snaps now, so he's back to being the guy in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
I'm scared of his team.
They're good. They're good, and it's likely that they're near the top at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
So, shouts out to successful man halfway through the campaign here, or almost. Good job, buddy. Number 2, we have. Well, I hate to talk about myself like that, but Pearson Spector Lit LLC, baby. Shouts out to Harvey and the gang, because everyone's getting lit up out there. All right.
How was that Suits season finale?
I don't want to talk about it. It's it
you
was
haven't
a
changed-
struggle to get through.
You
that
haven't
show.
changed your team name, so
No, but you
We're in on
it's
it.
still you gotta
I feel you.
ride or die, baby. But I felt that the team's gone. I've exploded out of the gates the first 5 weeks.
I keep waiting for you to fail, and you don't. And I have a little background. I have a lot riding on our team's records. We've got a little fantasy football bet just between us and who finishes high. And I think I'm going to be wearing the Dick Butkus jersey again this year.
Yes.
That's
And just
right.
to add in on that,
Mhm.
there is a a life-size cardboard cutout of this diehard Packer fan in Chicago Bears gear.
Yeah.
Painted face. It's
Yeah.
in my basement somewhere. I'll have to get up on the show one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope things continue here. We'll see though. It's fantasy football. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen,
You
but certain things won't. How about Super Youper in fourth place?
Shouts out to Super Youper, new member this year in the league. I just want to apologize to Super Youper. I missed your message ahead of our battle last week, and I'm going to give you a shout out now. Great job getting the dub. It was close.
Wait, you got the dub?
No, Super Youper beat me. This was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
He beat me by less than a point, or was close.
Oh, congratulations.
Something like
Thank
that.
you.
But started off a little slow this year for Super Youper, the newcomer, but he's won 4 in a row.
Yeah. That's 4-game win streak in this league is kind of it doesn't happen very often.
And I think you could. I don't have it with me. We need to look into this, but you can almost point to some of the moves he's made. I think he's been heavily involved in the trades and
I
a few
believe
of
so.
trades.
I can pull
And
those up real quick. Yeah.
can we get a dive in on that real
Yeah,
quick?
absolutely. So I've got all these all the trades here. I know he sent me multiple trade offers. We've been trying to get a deal done and we never did. Here's the Tutu Atwell and Tyler Lockett. This was right after. How did he get to? Maybe. I don't know where Tyler Lockett. Did you trade him, Tyler Lockett?
I traded Scott, the Swifties, Tyler Lockett.
That's
in
the trade.
deal.
Okay,
Yes.
We're deep in it, guys. He received Tutu Atwell and Tyler Lockett from Scott, and Scott got Michael Pittman Jr.
I think Super might have got the better end of that.
Well, and we just a little bit earlier in the show talked about how Tyler Lockett has turned his season around a little bit.
Right. I think it's going to continue. I mean,
I think so too. I agree with you. That might be
that might be
his
it. All
only
right.
trade,
Maybe
think.
I over.
Oh,
Wait.
Romeo Dobbs for Cam Akers.
All right.
He
Well,
received Cam Akers,
Well.
so we'll see how that turns out.
maybe he's not as maniacal as I thought, but
No.
regardless, he's winning,
Who cares? He's
and
getting it done.
he's on a 4-game win streak. So, shouts out to you, buddy.
Who's what? We got a couple other trades we wanted to talk about here, if I can find them. As I'm 12 pages deep in all of the trade details. We're past trades. We're talking power rankings.
Talking power
We're
rankings.
talking power rankings, fellas.
So we're on power ranking number
Anyone
4.
else
Who's
you
in the
wanted to
4th
talk
spot?
about?
I don't want to. Is there? Let's round out the top. Let's do one more. Who's in the 4th spot? Or no, who's at the bottom?
Who is at the bottom? I don't even know who's at. I cut the picture.
Are we
going to
be that mean? And you cut off the picture.
You know what? If I'm in 10th place, it's got to be a really terrible team. Let's find out live.
But if I remember, like
Pre-recorded
the records
live.
are all pretty. Everyone's kind of in the middle of the pack.
3 and 5 is the lowest record. That's again me and Craig.
Sure.
Currently 12 is the Irony Titans, which is
Hey, he won this
that's-
week, Chuck. Chuck, you won this
that's
week.
Chuck's- that's
Keep
Chuck's
your
week.
head held high, buddy.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit. All right. So
absolutely love it. One more team I want to talk about in power rankings,
sure.
if we've got the time. 4,000 St. Francis Heim time. That's John. That's John's team.
I believe I'm taking him on this week.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
What
do you got to say?
that? Well, 5 of 8 games within 5 points. Okay,
Oof.
lots of close games. He's 2 and 3 in those games. Okay, and he is taking you on this week. Is it going to be another close game?
I don't know. I'd like to think that it is. I looked at my roster just a little bit ago. I've got a couple guys on bye, I believe. So a couple normal starters. So we'll see.
We're kind of in the bipocalypse, sort of.
We are.
Like we're getting to that time of the season.
It is.
And we'll see how. Well, good luck to everyone this week, and we'll see you next week on that power rankings, just to kind of put you back in line with where we think you stand.
Yes. So, yeah, but that's gonna do it, right?
We got the matchups of the week.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Yep,
We're getting used to the doc now, fellas.
guys. First episode.
Yeah, give us a break. Come on, we're doing great.
Yes, I only see your matchup of the week here.
Well, I'll tell you yours when it's your turn. Okay.
Okay, I remember it now.
So my match of the week, not to be selfish, my match of the week is the Syracuse Atomizers against the Chicago Bearskin team. That's me, the Chicago Bearskin team. And we're both 3-5. Okay. We both have, that is the worst record in the league, which means at the end of this week, there will be a definitive worst team in the league. Okay. I don't want to be the worst team in the league, but it's going to be close. Okay.
I think
if I lose this, is my season over?
No, I mean it's a little early. It's not hopeful. it's but I've seen crazy comebacks. I've seen 7-1 teams at this point fall off. I've seen 6-2 teams fall off. I've seen the best teams fall off, and because you never know what's going to happen on any given Sunday.
Oh,
like that one?
I like that one.
You like that one? All right. But I'm going to say, Zach, you need to win this game. Okay? Yeah, you do, because this guy hasn't.
I'm scared.
This guy hasn't made a waiver claim since the draft.
Yeah.
You know, since week 1. So
Is he even trying?
I don't know. All right, Craig, dial it in here. Let's get the dub this week. Go make a claim
For the good of the league.
for the good of the league, buddy.
I want the best competition we can get.
So
So
well, that's great. That's a good matchup. I'll keep my eyes on
keep
that.
an eye on that. Do you remember
So,
your matchup for the
I
week?
do now.
Okay,
So, successful man 7-1 versus Super Youper, who I believe is 5-3.
I'll check that.
He's in first place in that division.
Yeah.
He's on a 4-game win streak too. So
That's
key there. Who's going to prevail? Is Josh going to continue his dominance, just putting up points?
If I was a betting man, I'd put it on Super Youper this week.
This week, yes. If you look at the projections, he's projected to outscore, as the roster sits today, I think by 20 points.
Really?
Something along those lines. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that one, and we'll recap it next
Absolutely.
week. But
Absolutely.
So, but anyways, I think that's it for the show, guys. We love that you're with us here for the first ever episode. This is a work in progress, so stay with us.
It's
It's gonna be great, man.
It's gonna be great.
So,
Next week,
next
we plan to have our very first call into the show.
Yes.
So if you are in our league or somehow watching this and not in our league, leave a comment or let me know that you want to be a call-in, because we're going to have you call in to the show live, pre-recorded live.
That's right.
And that's going to be exciting. Like I'm pumped.
Pre-recorded
Pre-recorded
live.
live.
That's the new thing, baby. Pre-recorded live. So please call in, man. Get on the network. Let's talk fantasy. Let's talk some crap, right?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
We haven't made fun of anyone too badly. I mean,
No.
Craig needs to set his lineup and
Right.
and make a waiver
And
claim.
manage.
But,
He needs to
you know,
manage.
that's
I don't know. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win.